Hi, Chris Morano here, Clear Path Herbals, in my gardens, medicine gardens, and I want to talk about mullein. So here's a patch of it right here in front of us, this large leaved. In this case, they have a curliness to them in the leaf. Mullein is a biennial, or sometimes a short-lived perennial, meaning maybe not 2 years, but maximum 3 years. And in its first year, it doesn't put up any flower stalk. These are first-year plants. Here, 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 they put out a beautiful rosette of lighter, silvery leaves. It's hard to tell, but they have a very fluffy, soft, velvety texture to them. And this is an indication that this plant is useful for mucous membranes and lungs. I'll talk more about that in another video when I'm talking about the language of plants based on color. So that's first year plant. Second year plant for most mulleins, it's going to send up a stalk, and then it puts out flowers over a succession of weeks. It doesn't come out with flowers all at once. And as the flowers emerge and blossom, they go to seed and others come up. So this one has pretty much gone to seed, whereas this one's about halfway through. This one's still in its earlier stage, and they'll be flowering all the way through probably late summer. Today, by the way, is July 25th, in case you're wondering. Mullein is a medicine chest. Usually when we're picking plant medicines, it's one part of the plant that's medicine, or multiple parts of the plant are medicine, but they're usually for the same thing, like echinacea, blossom, leaf, stem, and root are all pretty much the same medicine. Mullein not only is multiple medicines, but the medicines do different things, so it becomes one-stop shopping for many situations. I'll start with the leaf. Leaf medicine is one of the preeminent lung and respiratory tonics. Whether you are combating an illness, it does have some antimicrobial properties, but it's working more as a tonic for the lungs, making them stronger, making the mucous membrane tissue more normalized in its secretions, giving you a more productive cough, and helping to allay weakness or congestion in the respiratory system. Preeminent there. It's one of the best. You can use it alone. I oftentimes will put it in formulas with other herbs, but mullein in my mind is always the number one most important herb in that lung remedy. I also would use it for a tonic for mucous membranes in general, but other plants can do that with more affinity for different organs. The mullein leaf has, as I said, more of an affinity for lungs and respiratory system. The flowers, what you do for the flowers is pick them and make an oil preparation, an infused oil. Best thing to do is to have your jar handy with you, like a mason jar, and just pluck the flowers off and let them drop into the mason jar until it's moderately packed, maybe with about an inch space at the top, and then pour oil over the top. What I do sometimes, if I only had one mullein plant, I would keep the oil jar in the shade right near the plant, and the oil was already in there, and as the flowers emerged little by little, I kept on popping them in that way. And then after a few weeks of sitting there, gently decant off the oil, get rid of all the gunk in the water, and it becomes a preeminent earache remedy. It's one of the tried and true remedies from the herbal world. You make an infused oil and drop it in the ear canal, and it has very good effect on clearing ear infections. Especially if you want to be super about it, make a garlic clove oil as well. And you can drop a couple of drops of tea tree oil, and that triple combo of mullein, garlic, and tea tree oil is just what the herbal doctor ordered for dealing with ear infections. So that would be great. However, the root medicine is really good pain relief medicine, super underrated. Of course, if you're getting the root, knowing that the plant is most assuredly a biennial, there's only 2 times to get the root. One is at the end of the first year, so knowing that these are first year plants because there's no flowering stalk. If we wanted to thin out this bed, let's say, to make more room for the California poppy, I'd take these plants right here, leave 1 or 2 for next year, and that root medicine becomes excellent anti-spasmodic, but also just narcotic pain relief, especially for pain that is in the jaw, in the facial nerves, trigeminal neuralgia, temporomandibular joint disorder, Bell's palsy, or pain that comes down through the neck into the vertebra or into the rib cage. So really, really useful, but it can be used as a pain relieving narcotic-like medicine for pain anywhere. And most people don't know that. They're reaching for other plant medicines for pain relief. And here you have mullein root. If you miss end of the first year, you can always get it again at the beginning of the second year. You can tell what the first year plants are because their leaves will be very tiny. So if they're coming out of the ground large-leaved already, that means they're going to be going to flower and seed that summer, and you can take that root medicine in the spring. So I pick mullein medicine throughout the year, throughout its season, and never the same medicine. Leaf when it's in strong vigor, flower as it's doing its thing, and then either in the spring or the fall for the root medicine. All of these you can make into a tea or into a tincture, and as I said, the flower would be an oil. Something else that mullein leaf is very useful for is smoking blends ingredients. I'm going to pick a leaf here and show you how I do it. So you want to make a smoker's blend. Just say you like to smoke, you know, or maybe you're trying to wean off a tobacco habit and you're blending other herbs in with it, or you're doing ceremonial medicine and you want it to be from herbs that are from your garden and area. Mullein is superior smoking medicine, and on top of that, the lung tonifying medicine that is in mullein is conferred through the smoke. So actually, while it's helping you to wean off tobacco, at the same time it's actually a net positive gain, helping to tonify your lungs even though you're inhaling smoke. So I would hang these up to dry, and then they would dry, right? And then what I do when I have a bunch of them for smoking mixture, you want it to be fluffy. You don't want it to break the paper. So I peel away the main stem, and then when it's fluffy and dry, this is actually breaking apart in my hands. I just kind of roll it through my fingers and make it even more fluffy, and it becomes an amazingly wonderful, even smoke. And there you have it. Mullein is all-purpose medicine and one of the best for lung health. And oh yeah, one more thing. This is not the typical variety that people see growing wild along the highway medians or underneath power lines. Our more recognized species, the leaves are flatter, they don't have this curly edge to them, and they usually put up just one stalk, and they can get really tall. Sometimes they're like 8-10 feet tall. And this is a European variety. I think sometimes they call it Greek mullein, and it puts up multiple stalks, but the medicine is identical. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So thanks a lot. I'll see you at another herb right nearby. Take care. From Chris Morano and Clear Path Herbals.